Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday.
What did you say to him?
I just told him if a man answers, hang up. Didn't you hear about me, Gabe? If I'd been a ranch, they would have named me the Bar Nothing.
There never was a woman like Gilda, or a picture like Gilda. Columbia's outstanding screen triumph, starring Rita Hayworth, with Glenn Ford.
That's what I told Val, and that's what you're going to tell him.
Making me deceive my husband.
I got some news for you, Gilda. He didn't just buy something. He's in love with you.
One man bought Gilda, another hated her and hungered for her.
I hate you too, Johnny. I hate you so much that I think I'm going to die from it. Darling.
Gilda, inflaming men's hearts with a kiss or a song.
Amor mio, love me forever, and let forever begin tonight. Put the blame on Maine, boy. Put the blame on Maine. One night she started to shim and shake. That brought on the Frisco quake.
Make her stop. What do you mean by it?
Now they all know what I am. And that should make you happy, Johnny. It's no use just you knowing it, Johnny. Now they all know that the mighty Johnny Farrell got taken. And that he married
Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to cover the movie Gilda from 1946. The studio was Columbia Pictures. Release date was April 25th, 1946. The running time 110 minutes, and it was in black and white. Gilda was very popular at the box office at the time of its release. It was the 8th ranked movie of 1946. Leonard Maltin from his Classic Movie Guide gives it 3 out of 4 stars. He writes, highly charged story of an emotional triangle, a mysterious South American casino owner played by George Macready, his new man Friday played by Glenn Ford, and Macready's alluring wife played by Rita Hayworth. The film unfortunately cops out with silly resolutions. Rita has never been sexier, especially when singing Put the Blame on Mame. The summer before my first year at college, I took a class for film appreciation for some of my elective credits. Now, it's from that class that I developed a love of film noir. I sought out everything I could from video rentals to cable television. Gilda was often touted as one of the best of the genre. Not necessarily because of the story itself, like Maltin mentioned, but because of the performances, especially Rita Hayworth. All right, let's get into the making of the film. So Gilda would end up being the role that made Rita Hayworth a star. But it certainly did not happen overnight, as she had been acting in smaller roles since the mid-1930s. And no, her birth name was not Rita Hayworth. It was Margarita Carmen Cancino, though her mother's maiden name was Hayworth. When she signed with 20th Century Fox as a teenager, she was billed as Rita Cancino, as they were hoping to have their version of the popular Mexican actress Dolores Del Rio. Rita would later sign a 7-year contract with Harry Cohn and Columbia Pictures. Cohn decided to change her image and styles that Fox wanted, including her name, which became Rita Hayworth. It's then her hair color became the patented ginger red that she is best known for. Her big break came in 1939 as a supporting actress for Only Angels Have Wings with Cary Grant and Jean Arthur. And because Hayworth was a trained dancer, she was cast with Fred Astaire for the 1941 musical You'll Never Get Rich. As her film career started to rise, she became very popular due to World War II, and she was a top pinup girl for many of the soldiers during the war. And if you remember the film Shawshank Redemption, well, the younger version of Andy Dufresne had a poster of Rita on his cell wall. Even Stephen King's original title of the short story for the film that it was based on is called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Hayworth would have her biggest hit to date with 1944's CoverGirl, co-starring with Gene Kelly, which was also shot in Technicolor, which was still a rarity for film back then. She would then go on to have her biggest hit 2 years later with Gilda. As for Glenn Ford, now I've covered his career in a past episode for the dark comedy The Gazebo with Debbie Reynolds from 1959. Ford would continue to be relevant on film and TV even into his late 70s. Of course, younger fans might remember him for his role as Clark Kent's adopted father in the original Superman from 1978. Now, normally I don't get into the romantic lives of the actors covered on the podcast, but Glenn Ford's resume of women is too impressive not to mention. He was married 4 times, but had relationships with a laundry list of top-billed actresses. Of course, it included Rita Hayworth, which began during the shooting of Gilda and lasted until the 1980s. Other big-name actresses he was linked to include, get ready, Barbara Stanwyck, Joan Crawford, Judy Garland, Angie Dickinson, Debbie Reynolds, Jean Tierney, Suzanne Plachette, Jill St. John, Bridget Bardot, Ava Gabor, Gloria Graham, Stella Stevens, and Loretta Young. How did he even have time to work on films? By the way, fun fact just for Brian Davis's own personal history, our childhood dog was named after Bridget Bardot. Her name? Bridget Bardog. No, I'm not lying. My dad named her after Bridget Bardot. Anyway, getting back on topic, director Charles Vidor had been directing films since the early 1930s and worked with Hayworth prior on the aforementioned CoverGirl. One of the knocks on Gilda is the somewhat haphazard story, but this happens a lot with film noir. But Vidor said that part of the reason for this on Gilda was when shooting began in September of 1945, they didn't even have a completed script yet. They also started production without a leading man. The hiring of Glenn Ford really solved that issue, of course, but the script problems remained throughout, as often Vidor would shoot scenes the same day he'd get additional pages. But to his credit, Vidor completed shooting on schedule, but the studio wanted musical numbers, and those were added in post-production. All right, let's get into the film. So it opens with degenerate gambler Johnny Farrell, played by Glenn Ford, playing a game of street craps in Buenos Aires. After winning a few bucks, he almost gets mugged down a dark alley, but is helped by a rich stranger named Balin Munson, played by George Macready.
Put your hands up. Up. Out.
Get going. Cane like that can come in handy. It is a most faithful and obedient friend. It is silent when I wish it to be silent. It talks when I wish to talk. That's your idea of a friend? That is my idea of a friend. You must lead a gay life. I lead the life I like to lead. You're a lucky man. I make my own luck. What are you doing in a neighborhood like this? I came down to save your life. Don't overdo it. He wouldn't have killed me if I'd given him the money. But you wouldn't have given him the money. I don't think I would. How did you get it? Get what? The money you would have died for. Gambling? I'll leave you here.
Oh, thanks.
Pleasure.
I'll do the same for you sometime.
Save my life?
Give you a cigarette.
With your luck, why don't you go where there's some real gambling?
I thought it was illegal in Buenos Aires.
Oh, it is.
Oh, I see. Just like home.
There's a casino about a half hour the other side of town. Here's the key.
Thanks.
But don't go.
Why not?
They won't let you use your own dice.
What? I didn't think it showed.
A man who makes his own luck as I do recognizes it in others. In any event, they won't let you in without a tie.
Johnny puts on a tie and goes to the casino recommended by Munson. He goes to the blackjack table and doesn't take Munson's advice and uses his cheating techniques to win a number of hands at blackjack. This cheating involves asking the dealer to cut the deck after each hand. Johnny would then magically always end up with 21. So Johnny wins his money, nothing super decadent, but enough to get called up to the director's office before he leaves the casino.
How'd you like 1,000 pesos apiece?
You don't buy your way out of this, bub. You're in trouble.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Goodbye, Casey. Waiter. Well, well. The little man with a sharp friend. I told you not to bring your own dice. Well, well, again. You really had me fooled last night. I thought you were somebody. I didn't think you'd just be the manager of a gambling joint. My name is Alan Munson. Mine's Johnny Farrell. And I'm not the manager. I own the joint. And I don't like to be cheated. Oh, there isn't a dice table in the house. Nobody wins that much money at 21, honestly. I had a lucky streak. A very deft way of cutting cards. Took me years to learn. Of course, you ought to be in jail. But I suppose I owe you an obligation, since I saved your life. Hey, you ought to be more careful about those things. Now get out of here. Don't come back. Now, you know you're being very stupid. Probably. You'd simply have me gambling on the wrong side. Oh, it'd be better if you had me on your side. I don't like my people to cheat. I cheat with my own money, sure. But with your money, I wouldn't have to cheat. Think it over. You know, I think I will. How much time do you give me? Oh, there's no hurry. You can take a minute or two. Excuse me while you're making up your mind. Not you. You really shouldn't hit a man when he has his hands behind his back. You see? This way you'll have two friends. You've no idea how faithful and obedient I can be. For a nice salary. This I must be sure of. That there is no woman anywhere. There's no woman anywhere. Gambling and women do not mix. Those are the very words I use myself. Now, shall we quit talking about it? There was one once. Get this, Mr. Munson. I was born last night when you met me in that alley. That way I'm no past and all future, see? And I like it that way. He let me ease myself right to the top. At first, I just watched the play and the checkoffs. By the way, about that time the war ended.
So Johnny is now the lead manager and runs a casino while Munson goes on a trip. When Munson returns, it's with a beautiful woman named Gilda. That's Rita Hayworth, who is now his wife. We also get one of the most famous reveals in movie history, when Hayworth flips her hair back and we see her in all her glamour. You probably viewed the scene many times in montages without even realizing who the actress was or what movie it came from.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me? Sure, I'm decent.
Gilda, this is Johnny Farrell. Johnny, this is Gilda.
So this is Johnny Farrell. I've heard a lot about you, Johnny Farrell.
Really? Now, I haven't heard a word about you.
Why, Ballin.
I wanted to keep it as a surprise.
Was it a surprise, Mr. Farrell?
It certainly was. You should have seen his face.
Did you tell him what I'm doing here, Ballin?
No, I wanted to save that as a surprise, too.
Hang on to your hat, Mr. Farrell.
Gilda is my wife, Johnny.
Mrs. Ballin Munson, Mr. Farrell. Is that all right?
Congratulations. Oh, you don't congratulate the bride, Johnny. You congratulate the husband. Really? Well, what are you supposed to say to the bride? You wish her good luck. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Farrell. My husband tells me you're a great believer in luck.
We make our own luck, Johnny and I.
I'll have to try that sometime. I'll try it right now. Tell him to come to dinner with us tonight, Ballin.
It's an order. Come along, Johnny. We'll let Gilda get dressed. Look your best, my beautiful. This will be the casino's first glimpse of you.
I look my very best, Ballin. I want all the hired help to approve of me. Glad to have met you, Mr. Farrell.
His name's Johnny, Gilda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Johnny is such a hard name to remember. And so easy to forget. Johnny. There. See you later, Mr. Farrow.
That's right, Mrs. Munson.
I'll see Johnny downstairs.
I'll see him at the casino.
For some reason, she doesn't like you, Johnny.
Really? What makes you think that?
I know my wife.
You do?
Why would she form an instant antagonism like that?
Maybe it's chemical.
She'll get over it.
Sure. When did you meet her?
The day I left for the interior.
When did you get married?
The day after that. Quick. You should know, Johnny, that when I want something, I...
You buy it quick. Do you know anything about her at all?
It's an odd coincidence, Johnny. Listen to this. She told me she was born the night she met me. All three of us with no pasts, just futures. Isn't that interesting?
I think it's fascinating.
What's the matter with you?
I thought we agreed that women and gambling didn't mix.
My wife does not come under the category of women, Johnny.
I could have made a mistake.
You did. Don't make it again.
It starts already.
What's this?
Tact.
Fallon, will you come up and help me into this thing like a darling?
See you at the casino. In about an hour.
Fallon.
It was all I could do to walk away. I wanted to go back up in that room and hit her. What scared me was I wanted to hit him too. I wanted to go back and see them together with me not watching. I wanted to know.
I can never get a zipper to close. Maybe that stands for something. What do you think?
I think you were very rude to him.
To whom?
Johnny.
Was I? Oh, dear. That's one of the things you'll have to teach me, Ballon. Good manners.
I want you to like him.
You're sure about that?
What do you mean?
He's a very attractive man, if you like the type.
He's a boy.
Boys have the darndest way of growing up, Ballon. Almost when you're not looking.
But I'll be looking.
So Rita Hayworth's introductory scene was shot twice. While the action of her popping up her head into frame and the subsequent dialogue remained the same, she's dressed in different costumes. One in a striped blouse and a dark skirt, and the other, the more famous off-the-shoulder dressing gown that we all know. Of course, we know that there will be a conflict between the trio after that last scene. Plus, if you're a fan of film noir, Gilda is the prototypical femme fatale. So Gilda arrives at the club later that night.
I found him, Gilda. Very elusive chap, our Johnny. Sit down, Johnny.
Good evening, Mr. Farrow. You're looking very beautiful.
Good evening, Mrs. Munson.
Can't you return the compliment, Johnny?
You're looking very beautiful.
Why, thank you. If there's anything I love, it's a spontaneous, impulsive compliment like that. And because you're so nice, I'm going to show you something. My husband gave it to me for a coming home present. Is it cute?
50,000 pesos and it's cute. Isn't she fabulous, Johnny?
Fabulous.
Wait, Johnny. Let's drink to us. To the three of us.
To the three of us.
What's the matter, Johnny?
I get confused.
Confused? Why?
Well, just a few weeks ago, we drank a toast to the three of us.
Well, who was the third one then? Should I be jealous?
Hardly, darling. Just a friend of mine.
Is it a him or a her?
That's a very interesting question. What do you think, Johnny?
A her.
Oh.
Why that conclusion?
Because it looks like one thing, and then right in front of your eyes, it becomes another thing.
Well, you haven't much faith in the stability of women then, have you, Johnny?
That's right.
One wonders who the woman was who brought our Johnny to this pretty pass. Doesn't one, Gilda?
One does. Let's hate her. Shall we, Ballon?
Let's. Shall we, Johnny?
Let's.
Now that I'll drink to.
Gin?
Yeah.
Wo?
Dort am vierten Tisch.
Pardon me for a moment.
Anything I can do, Bellin?
No. I'll be right back.
Now, isn't this something? It's a small world in Argentina, isn't it?
Isn't it? Why did you marry him?
My husband's a very attractive man.
You don't love him.
What was that word again, Johnny?
You married him for his money.
That happened to come with it.
No, that's a great way to make a living.
That wouldn't be the big pot calling the little kettle black, now would it?
I was down and out. He picked me up, put me on my feet.
Now, isn't that an amazing coincidence, Johnny? That's practically the story of my life. Hello.
Good evening, senorita. Senor, I am Capitan Delgado. I would like to ask permission to dance with your lady. The answer's no.
The answer's yes. I'd love it.
But the young man
The young
just
man
said...
would love it, too, but he can't afford it.
Women can be extremely annoying.
You're in again.
Mauricio Miguel Obregon, at your service.
So that's your name. Hey, look, I've been watching you for weeks now.
Then that makes us even.
You don't gamble.
Mhm.
You don't drink. What are you hanging around here for?
The atmosphere has always interested me. Now it positively fascinates me.
That man that is fascinated is a detective named Obregon, played by Joseph Calleia. As you might have guessed, there is reason for the tension between Johnny and Gilda, because they were in a relationship in the past. We only got a brief taste, but it's obvious Johnny still holds a major grudge against her. So Gilda was a dancer in New York. This is where they initially met. Munson also has an itching feeling that Johnny and Gilda may have known each other in their past.
Hi.
You're still dressed.
Yes.
Anything wrong?
Everything's wonderful, but I told you zippers throw me.
May I help?
Thank you.
You'll have a maid in the morning.
Will she be old and ugly?
Those are your orders.
I think that's good business, to surround yourself with ugly women and beautiful men.
Yes. You knew him before.
Who?
Johnny.
Johnny Farrell?
Johnny Farrell. You knew him before.
No.
Don't lie to me, Gilda. Don't ever lie to me.
I'm telling you the truth. I didn't know him. I don't think I've ever known him, Bellin.
I see. You're a child, Gilda. A beautiful, greedy child. And it amuses me to feed you beautiful things because you eat with such a good appetite.
But I shouldn't make any mistakes.
No, you shouldn't.
If you're worried about Johnny Farrell, don't be. I hate him.
And he hates you. That's very apparent. But hate can be a very exciting emotion. Very exciting. Haven't you noticed that?
You make it so.
There is a heat in it that one can feel. Didn't you feel it tonight?
No.
I did. It warmed me. Hate is the only thing that has ever warmed me.
Well, that seems like playing with fire for both Gilda and Johnny. Gilda has a penchant for flirting and often dancing with men at the casino, and it's Johnny that has to rein her in because it wouldn't be dignified for Munson to do that with his wife. We're not sure if she's doing it to make Johnny jealous or if she's simply annoyed at being the property of a rich man. However, Munson has other headaches besides keeping tabs on his wife. A man who has business ties with Munson and often came into the casino and won a hand night after night without fail is eventually cut off by Munson. This man, who is very upset, decides to try to kill Munson, but he fails. The man ends up shooting himself after hiding in a room. Later that night, Munson reveals what's going on with his business to Johnny.
Did he kill himself, Johnny?
Yes.
When a man becomes weak enough to accept a bribe, he's already a dying man. Didn't bother you, did it?
Did he kill himself? No. But it did bother me that back there you were afraid.
Oh, no, I was amazed. I realized that something could happen to me. That's why I'm going to tell you something. Come in. Over here, Johnny. Remember this, Johnny. Remember this, too. Could you do it now by yourself?
Yes. 8 left, 24 right, 2 left, 17 right.
You're the only one who knows the combination, Johnny. If anything should ever happen to me, there are papers in there. Signatures and instructions how to carry on.
Thanks for not letting me down. You're not just the owner of a gambling joint, huh?
You know what a cartel is, Johnny?
I think so. A trust. A monopoly of some kind, isn't it?
An international monopoly.
Big business, huh? Monopoly in what?
Tungsten. That doesn't impress you.
Well, I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't know if it's worth getting shot at for the pleasure of monopolizing it.
A man who controls the strategic material can control the world, Johnny.
Whoa, now. The world's a pretty big place.
Made up of stupid little people.
Well, if anybody can do it, I'd lay 8 to 5. You're the baby who can.
And you'd win. Now let's go downstairs and have a drink. With you and Gilda on my side, you are on my side, Johnny.
Well, I told you that.
And Gilda?
What do you mean?
Women are funny little creatures, Johnny.
Well, I don't know much about them.
Odd things are important to them.
Really?
I bought her, Johnny. Just as I bought you.
Well, she knows that, doesn't she?
That's just it. Money doesn't mean very much to Gilda. If she should become restless, I'm mad about her, Johnny. Mad. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's great. Because she is on your side, Ballin. I'd lay 8 to 5 on that, too. And I'd win. Well, I better be getting back to the joint.
Essentially, once World War II ended, the German cartel that financed Munson's business now wants the ownership back. The business was Munson's in name only. But now Munson doesn't want to relinquish the business or the power. How shocking. Gilda returns home from her movie date, and Johnny decides to lay down the law, but Gilda couldn't care less.
You know what? I have the funniest feeling. We're not alone.
Maybe we're haunted. Maybe if we go inside, it'll go away.
Besides being pretty, you're positively intelligent. Come on.
No?
You know, I have the funniest feeling somebody said something.
Maybe the lady forgot to tell you. Her husband lives here.
For a long, long time, I've taken husbands little by little, in small doses. So that now, I've developed a complete immunity to them.
You're through for the evening, son. Scram.
Ah, so he runs this joint too, does he?
I said scram.
For 2 cents, I'd...
You'd what?
That's great, hitting a man when he's drunk.
You shouldn't get drunk on my time.
On your time?
I thought that was settled. I take care of everything that belongs to the boss.
What's his is yours?
You went to a picture show tonight. Alone.
Really? Would you like to know whether I enjoyed it?
That's your story. That's what I told Bal, and that's what you're going to tell him.
Making me deceive my husband.
I got some news for you, Gilda. He didn't just buy something. He's in love with you.
Is that so hard to understand?
And you're not going to do anything...
I've got some news for you, Johnny. I'm going to do exactly what I please when I please. I was true to one man once, and look what happened. I made up my mind then that
This isn't about us, it's about him.
Really? You don't say so.
And get this straight. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to see to it that it looks all right to him. From now on, you go anywhere you please, with anyone you please. But I'm going to take you there, and I'm going to pick you up and bring you home. Get that? Exactly the way I'd take and pick up his laundry.
Shame on you, Johnny. Any psychiatrist would tell you that your thought associations are very revealing.
What are you talking about?
Any psychiatrist would tell you that means something, Johnny.
Did you hear what I said?
Sure, I heard what you said. You're going to take me there and pick me up. All to protect Belle. Who do you think you're kidding, Johnny?
I hated her so I couldn't get her out of my mind for a minute. She was in the air I breathed, in the food I ate.
Later that night, Gilda plays an acoustic guitar and sings a song. This, of course, wasn't sung by Rita. It was dubbed by Anita Ellis. Hayworth never actually sang in her films. She just danced. Anyway, this awakens Johnny, and they continue their contentious conversation from the earlier day.
Oh, good morning. How very pretty you look in your nightgown.
What are you doing here?
Singing to my friend. Isn't that all right?
How long you been here?
How long?
5 verses.
What are you doing here?
Listening. I just finished my work, and did you hear about that poor little cow that blamed for...
Get out of here. Get back to your washroom where you belong.
Put a beggar on horseback, huh, Uncle Pio? Well, here's the laundry waiting to be picked up.
Where have you been?
Swimming. I bet you don't believe me. I bet Bellin won't either, unless you're there to back me up. You went swimming with me. Didn't we have a good time?
Swimming.
That's what it says here.
Where's your bathing suit?
Under this. Want to see?
I'll get dressed.
I hate to drag you out this time of the morning, but it's your idea, you know. Why don't you make it easy on yourself and let him find out about me? Or are you afraid of what he might do to me? Johnny. I am.
What?
Afraid.
You?
Oh, Johnny, I wish I'd never...
Never what?
Getting married on the rebound is so stupid.
Rebound from what?
You. Because you don't know a man you've only known one day.
He doesn't know you either. That way you start even. All fair and even.
Would it interest you to know how much I hate you, Johnny?
Very much.
I hate you so much that I would destroy myself to take you down with me. Now I've warned you. Now that's all fair and even.
All fair and even. Now, would it interest you to know that I know why you're hanging around here at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I told you I'm the laundry. I'm simply obeying instructions.
Now, who's kidding who, Gilda?
Gilda chucked the guitar through a glass door while Johnny turns around and smirks at her. All right, there's a little less than an hour left and plenty of tension remains, as you can imagine. Will Johnny and Gilda just finally explode and fall for each other again? And if so, how will Munson react? Speaking of Munson, how will he fare against the mobsters that want their business back? Well, it's all answered in the excellent remainder of the film. I would say Gilda is definitely in the top 10 of film noirs to see. Now look, just seeing Rita Hayworth alone is worth 2 hours of your time. In addition to being one of the most beautiful women ever to grace the screen, she gives a fantastic performance that I think you're going to enjoy. So check it out. All right, some fun facts. So, remarking on her varied success at dating and marriage, Rita Hayworth once stated, "They fell in love with Gilda, and they woke up with me." This would be Glenn Ford's first film in 3 years, as he was serving in the Marines during the war. Humphrey Bogart declined the role of Johnny Farrell and reasoned that, with the gorgeous Rita Hayworth playing Gilda, audiences wouldn't look at anyone else. And frankly, he wasn't wrong, but I would say Glenn Ford definitely holds his own in this film. Rita Hayworth wore a corset while shooting, put the blame on Mame, as she had given birth to her first daughter, Rebecca Wells, months before filming. You would never know. Gilda was the inspiration for the character of Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988. While the film was in release, an atomic bomb tested at Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean's Marshall Islands, and it bore an image of Rita Hayworth, a reference to her bombshell status. Harry Cohn was worried about bad publicity affecting Rita Hayworth's box office pull because her marriage to Orson Welles was a constant worry for him. Hayworth and Wells were, in fact, in the middle of one of their separations during the shooting, and the gossip magazines were full of stories of an affair between her and Glenn Ford, which of course was true, but it's funny how times change today. Today, the gossip of the star's personal life would probably help box office numbers, not harm them. There's a scene later in the film where Gilda slaps Johnny hard across both sides of his face. In reality, Rita Hayworth's smacks actually broke 2 of Glenn Ford's teeth. He held his place until the take was finished. All right, we have a special guest for this episode who has never seen Gilda. I don't think she's either seen Glenn Ford or Rita Hayworth in a film, and it's Lindsay. Now, she's really enjoying film noir, but will she like this one? We're just going to have to listen to find out. And then I'll be back next week to talk about yet another random movie from my DVD collection. Okay, welcome back, and we have a special guest who I think film noir is her new favorite genre. It's Lindsay. Welcome back.
Hey, Brian. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. And yes, I've become quite a film noir fan thanks to these podcasts.
Okay, so with that being said, how did you feel about Gilda? Because I have a certain viewpoint of it. It's often touted as one of the best film noirs ever made. And I think it's partly because of the style, the way it's shot, and obviously Rita Hayworth. I don't know, let me get your take on it before I pontificate about your thoughts.
It was okay. I mean, I've seen quite a bit of film noir too. I would fervently disagree with the idea this is the best one. There are so many, in my opinion, better ones that I have seen than this. It's not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. If you ask me what I thought of her, she's a disaster. She's your classic disaster chick. She's the girl you're always scraping up off the bathroom floor in the bars that can't get it right, when you're in your 20s and doing that thing. Mm-hmm. She's constantly a mess. She's not a respectable person. She doesn't respect herself. She doesn't respect her partners. She thinks she can do whatever she wants. She's very entitled. She's mostly doing that because she's pretty and she gets away with it and men let her do it. I mean, she's a train wreck of a human. Like, honestly, who she is in this film and how she is translates exactly to the most disastrous women that I've known or heard about in modern time. She's no different at all.
But Glenn Ford is in many ways similar. I mean, he's kind of a train wreck. To a point, he does kind of straighten up, and then things kind of derail when Gilda comes back into his life.
Oh, yeah, you didn't ask me about him yet. No. He's also a disaster and a train wreck. He's no... Well, here's the thing about Glenn Ford, in my estimation.
His character.
He's in his character, not Glenn Ford. So, honestly, Glenn Ford as a human, I'm sure was a... Well, actually, I'm not sure he was a fine man. I don't know what he was. Glenn Ford is Glenn
actor.
Ford. Johnny Farrell is Johnny Farrell, and we're talking about Johnny Farrell, so it's good to use their character names. Johnny Farrell was extremely flawed and had so many issues from the beginning. He's a hustler, he's a thief, a grifter, He doesn't want to make an honest buck. He's lazy, he thinks he's better than other people. All those things. It's the same amount of just distaste and smarm.
He's the male version of Gilda.
Absolutely. I mean, there is nothing more redeeming about him from the beginning than about her. In my opinion, though, where it differs, and I feel like this is the important part to point out, there is some redemption in him, I think, that happens as he gets involved with his new boss at the casino, as he starts to feel pride in the work that he's doing, as he starts to make, well, I'm putting air quotes around this, an honest living. He is working for his money. He's not technically stealing it. I don't think the casino is doing non-shady things. I think it's a front for some other things, and that often in film and sometimes even in history has been the case. And he is starting to stand up a bit more as a result of that, even to the point where when he reconnects with Gilda, and obviously he knew her in a previous life, when he reconnects with her here and sees, honestly, she's kind of a shit, he's actually trying to protect his boss and his boss's feelings by making things look a certain way they're not, because he's more interested in making sure his boss feels okay about the decision he made to commit to her and protecting him in that way. And he's doing probably the wrong thing for the right reasons. And obviously, as the movie goes on, this was a terrible idea.
So do you not, I'm not going to say you don't like this movie. Do you not like this movie as much as others because there are no likable people in this film? Even his boss, Balin, is not a good person.
No, but even he shows some shades of it. He could have just absolutely written off Johnny completely, but instead I think he saw an opportunity. Now, that opportunity he saw to bring him under his wing could have technically been more manipulative than anything else.
As the plot plays out.
Yeah. And that makes sense. He sees someone who thinks he's smarter than everyone and is an easy mark, and Balin is a smart, wealthy guy that's got a bigger plan. Unfortunately, Johnny was sort of like a paycheck to paycheck grifter, an opportunity to opportunity. Balin was the real deal. Balin was like, the mogul. Yeah. He was like the upper echelon of the grift.
Right.
So I think there's an element of, there's like no likable people in this. So yes, that's going to affect maybe how you feel about the film. But honestly, truly, I don't feel the acting in this film was better than many of the other film noirs I've seen. Honestly, Johnny's an angry guy, Balin's an angry guy. This is a trope as old as time. And Gilda, played by Rita Hayworth, is just acting like a crazy bee. And that's a trope as old as time. I didn't really think there was anything especially amazing, even about the performances. They just kind of yelled and freaked out a lot. And whereas other films we've seen in the noir genre, like Double Indemnity or anything that you've seen like Hitchcock do, it's totally different. This to me was tropey.
Okay. So in 1946, film noir had been around for 3 or 4 years. I would say, post World War II is when film noir really started to kick into gear. I think what makes this, and I kind of alluded to this in the beginning, a classic film that people return to is Rita Hayworth. The way she looked, this is all about style. So if you just look at, and in today's culture, style is everything too. Well, I mean, it was back then too. If you just think about the poster of her introduction where she's flipping her hair back, this is a very memorable film for certain moments in there. And mostly it's of how Rita Hayworth looks. She is that vamp. So to your point, I don't know if maybe the plot isn't as good for you. But I kept pointing out in the middle of the film, like, the way they shot this is amazing. Like, there are some great shots in this film that I think you can appreciate, whereas maybe the film as a whole you're not as impressed with.
I mean, I gotta fight back a little bit on that, because even the shots to me were not as impressive as anything I ever saw Hitchcock do. Now, granted, he's coming later, and that's fair.
But Hitchcock is more suspense than film noir. This isn't really a suspenseful film.
Let's look at Double Indemnity. The incredible use of shadow and darkness and the things that they did. I find that way more compelling. This is about a pretty lady that happened to be in this film that 100%. I don't think acted better than any other person that I've ever seen.
I disagree with that.
I don't think was on the level in this film of a Barbara Stanwyck or a Joan Crawford by any measure. The hair flip, okay. It is an iconic moment in film. I don't think it's that impressive. It's nowhere around the Marilyn Monroe skirt thing and stuff like that that happened many years later. Yes, that was a comedy. But I think that the hype for me around this is about Rita Hayworth and what she looks like, and not so much about the film and the acting itself.
Okay, so to go back on that, I don't think Joan Crawford could have played this role. Bette Davis couldn't have played this role. I'm not even sure Barbara Stanwyck could have played this role.
They weren't the type of woman that could have played this role.
That's my point. So I get the comparisons. We all compare everything, but I don't think you can compare it to Double Indemnity, because I think that's not just the acting, that's also the story.
But it's also noir from the time, right?
Somewhat. Yeah, I mean,
they're not that far apart in terms of years.
They're not.
Barbara Stanwyck is not Rita Hayworth, but if you're asking me how do I feel about the film, I don't think it's as good of a film as something like a Double Indemnity, because to be honest with you, there's not, in my opinion, maybe other viewers would feel differently, there's not a lot of surprise to the film. A lot of time when I think of noir, I think of dark. I think there's some kind of crazy twist that might come, or something that's a little bit unexpected, or like a cookie hidden in there. I do not find this film to be that. I think it's exactly what I thought it would be. These people are basket case disasters. Okay, there's some good acting in it, in that they're good basket case disasters. They're terrible for each other. Nothing too surprising happens in the film. And honestly, they make each other worse. It's so...
But there are people like that.
This is a... Maybe that's what gets me about this, is that there's nothing new about this. This is exactly as old as time. This is exactly how every toxic relationship in the world has ever played out. But I don't think it's any better than any other version of a toxic relationship I've seen on a film. Not the hair flip, not the this, not the that. It's the same. I mean, I can think of way more modern film where you've got two super flawed characters that kind of weren't awesome alone and also kind of weren't awesome together. And the tragedy of what they are is far better portrayed than the tragedy of this. These just kind of seem like selfish, stupid people at times. So to me, that kind of is irksome. I think I could have given it up to the acting, but I just don't find it superior compared to any other thing that's noir-y from this time frame. We've seen a lot of other films with Cary Grant, for example, that I found much better. I mean, maybe you can argue that because the characters are unlikable, you had to find people who could truly be unlikable and play those characters. So I guess there's an argument in that. But I didn't find the acting superior to anything else. It certainly isn't a standout for me in noir from this time in any way.
Okay. Well, again, I find the style more interesting than the story. I will concede that, the story is kind of tropey, but that's
weak.
Fine.
It's kind of weak.
I mean, is it? I don't know. I mean, I've seen so many film noir movies that I'm used to. Tropes don't bother me for the most part. What I'm looking for is it entertaining? I was entertained by the dynamic between Glenn Ford and Rita Hayworth. Now, I'm also a man. I'm a heterosexual man. I like looking at Rita Hayworth. So I'm coming at it maybe at a different perspective than you. When I think of Pinup Girl, and if you go,
she's the quintessential.
She is. It goes back to Shawshank Redemption, where the title of Stephen King's short story was Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, because Andy Dufresne used the poster of Rita Hayworth as the pinup girl to cover the hole he was digging to get out of prison. So she was the Marilyn Monroe of her era.
But did that make her good in the role, or make her acting superior, or did it make the film superior? I don't think it did. It made her pretty.
I completely disagree, because there's plenty of pretty people that are in certain roles. I can, like, you look at Jane Mansfield in some of these roles, and some of the ones that you look at them and you're like, there's not much there. I don't agree with the Rita Hayworth. I actually think Rita Hayworth is a good actress. Maybe you need to see other Rita Hayworth
maybe
movies.
I do. I'm not judging this on her. I'm judging this on this film, and
Sure.
I don't think the film is that great. Not compared to other things that I've seen. It would rank like hearing that people regard this as the best film noir. Well, it's like I want to laugh.
I wouldn't say the best,
find that
but
ridiculous.
it is often touted because of the style, and I think that's where we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here. If you just look at the style of the film,
Casablanca-y to me, and that's better.
well, of course it is, because that is.
Do you know what I'm saying?
For some people, that is the greatest
then
film
why
ever
watch
made.
this and watch that?
It's a completely different film. The story is better in Casablanca than this.
Yeah.
This is purely about. There are plenty of movies that are about style. I wouldn't consider Rebel Without a Cause a great movie.
No, most people wouldn't.
But why do you watch it?
Well, most people would say it was for James Dean.
1,000%. And that's the same exact thing for Gilda. Why would you check out Gilda if you didn't want to see how great Rita Hayworth was?
Because that's not why I watch these kind of movies. And so
That's
that,
for
to
you.
me,
Yeah.
but if you're asking
Yeah.
my opinion and what this is about, that's what I would say. I
I'm-
would say that to me, this is a lot more fluff and about her, and I didn't care enough about the movie or the character or the acting to think this one was as worth it as many of the other ones I've invested the time in watching. I mean, one of the ones that blew me away, and you're going to remember the name, and I'm not, the guy who was kind of like a folksy singer down on his luck in prison.
A Face in the Crowd.
Oh my gosh. Now talk about like totally different film. Super dark. Like this is also a dark
And not
film.
a great ending, yeah.
No, oh my God, not a great ending. But talk about like mind blown. Like that one you'll watch and you'll go, wow, I didn't think they could make a film like that at this time. And they did, and it was mind-blowingly good. I know it's different, but
completely different.
This to me was billed as that type of film, and it missed the mark absolutely from start to finish compared to other films where I was told it was good and kind of didn't expect it, and then you got into it, and I'm like, wow, talk about some heavy, deep, dark, disturbing content from so many years ago. I didn't even think they had that. This is not that to me, not even close.
Okay, and so I think here's a good counterpoint where this film was probably marketed to men. Some women might want to check it out because either they wanted to look like Rita Hayworth or they wanted to kind of hate watch her, and it almost sounds like you're that person.
No, I don't have any feelings about her at all. I've never seen her in a film.
Well, no,
but if you're
yeah.
asking me to evaluate this film,
I'm talking about
and
at the time.
and how I liked it, I didn't think it was that great. I definitely didn't find the acting superior to other films I've seen at the time. I don't think it stacks up against other film noirs. And maybe in another role, since I'm not as familiar with her, I would have thought she was really good in it. She's obviously a beautiful woman, but I didn't find anything very superior about this compared to other things. So, I mean, I think if I'm evaluating on the strength of the movie, I'm not evaluating on the strength of how she looks. I'm saying that I think the fanfare around this is about how she looks. It's more about that and less about any other substantive piece. And I'm watching this based on substantive because I have nothing else to watch it on. I'm not going. There's no reason I would ever pick up this film and be like, "Ooh, Rita Hayworth." I won't care. I mean, and I wouldn't choose it. But then again, I wouldn't pick up Rebel Without a Cause to say, "Ooh, James Dean." I wouldn't pick up.
Well, you wouldn't, but a lot of people
right,
would.
But I would. So again, if I'm watching it and I'm evaluating, that's what I would say. I would never watch Rebel Without a Cause for James Dean, but I would also never watch this film for Rita. So,
well, I mean, why would you watch any Elvis Presley movies? That's
I really haven't.
You wouldn't, but you're a different person.
I really haven't.
Than maybe people that are looking at certain films. This was around a time when you could build. I would say through the 80s and maybe part of the 90s, you could build a film. So, around one actor, you go see a film that was built around them. They don't really do that anymore.
But what's funny is, though, I probably would see a Marilyn Monroe film for Marilyn Monroe, and she is no different a sex symbol for women, for men.
She's before Marilyn,
and then anybody, including Rita Hayworth, she's no different. And I probably would say to you, hey, Marilyn's in that, and I haven't seen it. Let me check that out.
That's right.
And that's not because I feel Marilyn is more attractive or I'm more drawn to her. It's because, honestly, of what she has shown me, she does seem to be a really good actress, and I'm interested in how she's going to do what she's going to do. I don't feel, like I wouldn't, or I would be detracted from a Marilyn film because of anything about Marilyn. I would probably be more apt to watch it. So there are films with women starlets and traditional like sex pot type actresses in it that I would be much more likely to watch than this.
Okay, that's fair. I'm curious. Maybe someday we'll watch it. I would say her second best known film is The Lady from Shanghai, which is directed by Orson Welles, another film noir.
And he's amazing, Orson Welles.
Well, this story is is notoriously confusing, so I'd be curious of how you felt about that. So, look, I think, to your point, maybe the film itself has a lot to be desired, but I think the actors played the parts the way that the characters called for.
Well, they were wholly unlikable.
Right.
So yes, they did do that.
So I think the only point that you made that I take umbrage with maybe is that the acting wasn't good. I don't buy that. I think the acting was good for what the roles called for. She played the role like it should have been played.
I'm not saying they didn't act well. I'm saying if I'm stacking it up against do I think it's a superior film or superior acting? No, I wouldn't put it on that level. Do I think it's good? Would I say, oh, what a terrible acting job, I'm embarrassed for it? Absolutely not. I think one of the problems with the film, and I don't know if they set it up this way on purpose, maybe this is something they wanted to do, and I find that interesting because when I start thinking in modern times, this could be a whole other discussion unto itself. They gave him redemptive qualities, but they gave her none. And I find that interesting because there's really not, because even right up to the end, which I don't like to give away the endings, I found it to be like, really? So she pays no penance for the type of person she's been. But the Johnny character certainly paid a price for that. And I find that to be just back into the tropey stuff of, well, we'll make men pay the price, but women have no toll to pay for the behavior. So it was also to me like a weird lesson in there too. I also didn't love that either because she didn't flash a lot of redemption. She didn't flash any redemption to me, but Johnny had to. There were prices to pay for the way he behaved, and he came to pay those prices. And you saw that in the film. And that acting I found to be pretty strong because you watched him pay the price, and then you watched him react to himself paying the price. She kind of got to do whatever and didn't, and to me that doesn't make the acting easier. It just makes it like you're kind of a one-dimensional character, which you just sort of play from start to finish. But he couldn't do that.
I could be wrong, but the way I tell you, like, he left her, and not vice versa. So maybe the reason she's so bitter and that there's no redemptive is she was the one scorned from the beginning.
It could be that.
Because she alludes to the fact that, I keep falling for the wrong guys, and I open myself up for these people, and then look what they do.
But she's picking bad people, and that's on her.
A great point, but she
wants people to feel sorry for her for that, and I don't think listeners or
no. But to your point, like she puts up this front, but that's the reason is because she believed in him and he burned her. So I don't think she's completely wrong for.
Well, here's the other thing too. We do not know what happened there. No part of the film is ever explicit, and that's a good part of the film.
That's what I'm saying.
No part of the film is ever explicit in saying what actually happened. We are assuming he burned her because we don't know how or what he did it.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that's fascinating if you think about it, because this is a good study here. She could have been doing all the same things that she ever did to him, which is why he left in the first place. She was the female equivalent of a womanizer, right? She was a tart. And the truth is that she could have done that to him, and that could have been the reason that he moved away, but we'll never know that he did that because that's one of the thinly veiled and most interesting parts of the film is that unspoken piece of what happened in their past that got them to a negative place so that when they met again years down the line in another life, in another setting, that tension still existed and it wasn't good.
And that's my point of why this film is probably
that's the best part.
But that's the fact that we're having this discussion kind of leads me to my point of this film's better than what you're making it out to be, because there are ambiguities that are good, because you don't know. It's up to you to decide why did they get to a certain place and why they were angry. Now, you might be just pissed off that these people shouldn't be together, and that's frustrating.
No.
I get that. But
it's just that's the only thing. That's the only thing that has intrigue or mystery. The rest of the film is not that mysterious. To me, it's not all of that interesting. Yes, they have. I will say that the film does the tension between them well, but the reason the tension between them is as strong as it is, the reason that that's a carrying point of the film, because I agree, that is the hook, is because you do not know what happened before. You do not know what brought them to this place, and they do never tell you how they got to there. So we're left guessing.
Yeah.
We don't know if he did something bad to her and that made her the way she was, or she was just always the way she was. And then that is what made him be like, I can't do this anymore. We'll never know.
Yeah.
So if there is a redeeming element of the film that does make it interesting, to me, it is the don't know what happened before, created this mad, crazy tension thingy that's between love and hate, and everybody knows that's a tough spot to be, and that carries through.
And to kind of wrap up, the reason that I would say my argument to see the film is it's similar in some ways. You're checking out, I think even some women like the fashion. We're looking at a picture of towards the end, she's wearing like a strapless gown of the time. So the way she was made up is interesting. It's kind of on par to, why would you check out a Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire movie? Those films are complete fluff. The
but I don't watch those either.
I understand. I'm trying to prove a point here. People would check it out because of the dancing.
The dancing.
They want to see the dance scene. So the plot's nothing. To my point about Gilda, you might check this out because you want to see her fashion style, the ultimate sex symbol of this era. And so, to your point, while the film may not be up to your standards, it might be good enough and passable enough because people just want to see her acting ability and her appeal of basically being the ultimate sex symbol in the 1940s. So I think that's why this film, a lot of people want to go to check it out, because it is a part of history. It may not be the best film ever made, but I think it's better than I think you're making it out to be. But
here's the thing. This is my time in the sun, in that it's about being subjective.
And that's why I'm having you on.
It's about being subjective and trying to say, hey, what did you think of this and why did you think of it this way? And now that I feel like I have spent the last couple years really digging into some of these older films, I've not seen near the number that you have, and I don't have near the recall of those films that you do. Clearly, I couldn't even remember the name of a film that I thought was amazing. So take that for what it's worth. In my opinion, this one would have just been on more Hollywood's trying to showcase something than it would have been about the strength of the actual film.
I don't disagree with that.
That to me is, but if you're evaluating a film on how you like it, you can't not talk about how you actually like it. And,
I agree.
So that to me is why I responded.
Like
I said, I would watch a Marilyn Monroe film because Marilyn's in it. So there's no...
Which is exactly my point with Gilda.
Right. But this one, I don't think the draw is strong enough for me to have watched it because of her. But I can say there are other female sex symbol actresses I would have done that.
Marilyn Monroe is more interesting than Rita Hayworth.
And the type of films that I've seen her in, yes, they seemed more complicated. There's tropes in those too, but to me there was more, I guess, connection between some of the plot points. Whereas this was, I mean, honestly, this is a film about two flawed people who are probably more flawed together than they are apart. That is a tale as old as time. That is a normal story. I just didn't find it more appealing than any other version of that from that time that I've seen, because I've seen plenty. And just to me, it didn't speak to me the way those other films did. And to be honest, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in it because I expected it to deliver in a way that I don't think it did.
So this is a good counterpoint, and I usually don't ask for comments and feedback. Not that I don't want them, but it's like, it's neither here nor there. But I would be curious if you guys do listen to this episode. how do you feel about this? It could actually be both of our sides here.
Yeah, maybe it's a sliver of both.
Yeah,
I mean,
which I think it is, actually.
Again, you can never judge one person's career on one film.
No.
Nothing I'm saying is an essay on her acting, her career.
No.
But I can only talk about this film.
Yeah.
And everything that I've said only relates to this film. Because honestly, I've never seen her in another film. I can't judge her on another thing.
There you go.
This is just related to the film. So, hey, let's make it a point that I see more of her films. And then I may end up doing one of these and say, wow, this was the performance of a lifetime. This blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if one of those is absolutely in her catalog of work. I'm sure it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and hey, I'm super open to seeing it. I'd love to see it. Marilyn blew me away in her roles, and I'm very sure that Rita Hayworth, Betty Davis has done it, right? I am sure that there are others in there that we can watch and that I will get a different opinion.
There you go. Well, thank you for giving me your point of view on this one.
Well, you know, when you ask, my mom always says, do not ask a question you don't want the answer to, so...
Well, again, I just wanted someone's opinion.
Yeah, that's just...
You don't have to like everything.
This one just wasn't the winner for me that I feel like it would have been in the world. Mm-hmm. I understand why it would have won on some aspects, but for the film, which is what I was kind of valuing, it just didn't win for me the way others that were noir-y of the time did. But it doesn't make it a bad film. There are really some interesting elements to it, and the real tension between them, to me, is the thing that will carry this thing.
Well, folks, decide for yourself and let us know. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, everybody.
If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.